Yeah, the main thing I want to do is to really pay tribute, as has been done by many others, to Lucia and Jim and Shane's sisters. For 14 years, you should have been able to grieve and live your lives, and instead you had to fight for justice. And we should remember you weren't fighting for justice against nobody. There wasn't nobody on the other side. It was the state on the other side that was blocking the search for justice. And the state apology is a vindication of what you have been fighting for 14 years. I remember I met Lucia, it has to be over 10 years ago, because I was an MEP at the time. I remember Lucia specifically making the point about Shane being a UCD law graduate, as I was. And what struck me was the burning indignation and anger at the injustice, at how Shane had been killed and how he shouldn't have been killed, but then combined with what others have referred to, the kind of forensic detail in how this happened and how it simply shouldn't have happened at many points down the line, in terms of why Garajuska was free and able to be driving that car. I think it's important to say that and I do sincerely welcome the apology. Effectively, it is a repudiation of the scoping inquiry. I mean, if you read the scoping inquiry, effectively it says the state has nothing to apologise for. The state has nothing to inquire into. There's no need for public inquiry. That was the outcome of this extremely lengthy scoping document, which went much beyond what you'd normally think is scoping, was to say that the state effectively has nothing to apologise for here. It's also effectively a repudiation of the role that GSOC played and the GSOC reports, and this should be recognised. And so I really welcome the apology, but I also would emphasise that an apology is not a replacement for the truth. They need to go together. And I mean, the Minister was at pains to emphasise that the facts are known. You know, we could spend many years inquiring into these facts that are already known. Separately, what the Minister is doing will not need to establish any facts, since the relevant facts are already known. And I just worry, I take my lead fully from the family on this, but I think there is an important fact that is sitting here unanswered and unmentioned in the Minister's statement. Like the Minister previously in 2018 spoke in the House about tragedies happen in families throughout this country, but the reason the tragedy of Shane O'Farrell merits public discussion and debate in this House and public investigation is because it reveals a very significant inadequacy and inefficiency at the heart of the criminal justice system. And the fact that is still not known and not stated is why. You have repeated, like, failure upon failure upon failure of the criminal justice system. And was that simply inefficiencies in the system, or was it something more? Was Garajuska protected because he was an informant for the Gardaí? And that is a significant question that remains unanswered and that has wider implications. And again, I take my lead from the family, but I still feel that we the Garda papers to be published in relation to that, and we could do with having clarity on that. The final thing is just we shouldn't have to be here dealing with apologies. We shouldn't have to have future apologies. Terence Wheelock's death is now 20 years. This start of in this month. They'll be on the streets this Saturday, still fighting for justice, still demanding a public inquiry. They and others take inspiration from the O'Farrell family. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Catherine Connolly.